Oh, I have a really good example. And this one's kind of funny. Mobile marketer asked me to write about this the other day. So Apple, Apple is about apps. So obviously they aren't going to have a mobile website. Well, they asked me about driving traffic from a click-through ad on Pandora to purchase tickets to a concert. And when you clicked through to go to tickets on a concert, you went to a mobile website. The mobile website you went to was within iTunes, and it's not mobilized. It was hilarious to me.
It's funny because Apple.com is not even a
No, it's
mobile
not.
friendly site. It's horrible.
No, I know.
But see, that's one of the big, great debates with Home Depot is like, with certain campaigns, what do you mobile optimize? This HomeDepot.com is not mobile optimized, so you have to take pieces and parts that are relevant and create separate sites, microsites almost, to, support the campaign. And, it's an it's limited resources, even with the Home Depot, of what you can do and what you can't do. And there's a great internal debate because you have the enterprise. The marketing at Home Depot is kind of interesting, is that you have the enterprise group, which is like all the merchandising, that's by product category, and they're separate from .com. So these merchants are always, and these marketing managers are asking for the world for .com, and they just cannot support it with everything else that we're doing.
So add mobile.
And then add mobile on top of it. So it's,
I think that's every big box that we've talked to.
Well, and it's like, it's like they would ask me, how do you want to prioritize it? It's like, okay, gang, is it an A campaign, a B campaign, or a C campaign? If it's an A campaign, A+++, we can throw mobile at it. But if it's not, if it's a promotion on Windows, it might not be mobile optimized.
So, Sylvia, could you give us, we talked in the green room for a minute about some things that have been successful at Home Depot, like the paint department mobile app. Could you give us a little bit of an overview of something that Home Depot did that was very successful on mobile?
Well, I think one of the things that we've done well is our iPhone app. I don't know, I think with mobile and mobile marketing, it's like, what do you get out of it? Is it a promotion? Is it a scout mob? Like you said, if you click a QR code, do you, get something for free or, a special promotion? Well, with our iPhone app, it's kind of cool is that there's a lot of very relevant tools for consumers. It's like one of my favorite ones is you can put your shoe size, men or women, and actually walk off a room. And so you know how big it is and can calculate how much paint you need, which I think is kind of fun. And then, like put a bolt to find out, so that's been a real value add, and people have been, going towards it. So I think that is kind of like a success story kind of in the mobile world.
Yeah, that's similar to my near-field communication NFC example that, giving you a coupon to Home Depot on your cell phone may not be a great thing, but if I can figure out the size of my room, so when I go to the paint department, I know I need a gallon or 2 gallons or 3 gallons, that has some utility for me.
But I think there's even an interesting challenge is that, one of the things that we talked about is that people don't realize that there's, 330,000 associates at Home Depot. It's like, how do you get their skill level when somebody comes in with an iPhone and says, this is how much paint I need, when some of them don't even have a smartphone. So it's like there's a lot of issues with training and, with signage, and that you just need to kind of figure out in this mobile space. It's not an easy, and I don't think they've actually figured it out yet.
So I think that it's hard for everybody to figure it out. I mean, you have a ton of things that are going on in the mobile space. You got social media, which is hugely important. You got, mobile web, which is really important for reach and frequency. You got apps. You got SMS. You got QR codes. I mean, there's so many things in this space, really putting together a strategy and then taking it a piece at a time and figuring out how they all link together, I think is a really key point for someone starting out, though.
And that's like going back to what's the goals and objectives. I mean, you have to be specific. Is it an e-commerce driver? Is it a promotion driver? Is it an app driver? You just have to be very, pinpoint in, what you're trying to accomplish.
Well, I think that what I've seen in the mobile space, and I'd like Mark to comment on this since he works for a mobile web development shop and a web developers, that just like the internet, it started out as brochureware and then it migrated to a revenue generating opportunity for books and plane tickets and commerce. And we started out with web, with mobile, and people were just putting apps out there to get the real estate on the phone, and they really didn't do a whole lot. They were brochureware. And now we've got, IHG here in the complex doing, 100 million, 200 million, whatever, a month in hotel reservations because they're using location-based services. Their app knows where you are. It says, here's 6 properties in your area. So we've crossed that chasm where it's not just an app anymore, it's revenue generating and hence the ROI. Mark, do you want to speak about some of your clients or things you're seeing?
Sure. So there's been some interesting developments over the past 6, 12, 18 months with the web, which is, again, where I would like to start with all of my clients. What does your mobile internet site look like? What does it do? What do you want it to do? And the single greatest recipe for failure on the mobile web is to think of it as a slimmed down version of your mobile website, of your desktop website. That is, you see countless examples from big companies of sites that are horrible. The content's terrible, and people don't spend any time on the sites, and then they go, mobile doesn't work for us. We tried it, it doesn't work for us. But that's because your content sucks. Smartphones are becoming so fast, networks are becoming so fast. 60% of all mobile web access happens over a Wi-Fi network. So this false reality that you have to create stuff for slow networks is entirely that. It's just false. So, but some of the interesting developments that we're seeing over the past year or so is that the delta between a downloadable an application, the functionality and capabilities that affords, and that of the mobile web is just disappearing. And there's so few things that you can do via a downloadable that you can't do on the mobile web. So when my customers come and ask me, we want to do a mobile application, we want to do an application, I ask them, why is it that you're intentionally ignoring the majority of your mobile users by focusing on an application when you can have the same amount of functionality, the same user experience, the same code for a mobile website?
Now, are you guys and gals seeing certain demographics or age groups, or is it just across the board? I'll start with you, Mark. Are you seeing all age groups and demographics now? Is this senior citizens? Is this, college students? Is this everybody, or is it just focused around a certain cluster right now?
It's pretty much everybody, which is a totally lame answer. But there's an interesting piece of demographic stuff that I read recently about tablet usage, and tablets are increasingly being purchased as replacements or for laptops. And so they actually, minorities totally over-index on tablet consumption and tablet ownership, which is kind of a pretty astonishing thing to realize, I guess, for me. But across mobile webs, the mobile web, it's pretty much everybody. And then in a downloadable environment, what we're seeing is that iPhone users and people who have had iPhones for a long time are the ones who continue to use applications. Android users don't, to a large degree. And then the other thing I'm seeing, then I'll shut up.
No. Please go.
The other thing that I'm seeing is that we're basically advising our clients to I'm sorry to tell you this, but to move away from the BlackBerry platform.
It's okay.
In the time
I
of
can
limited
handle
budgets,
it. Yeah.
BlackBerry has a 9% market share, I think, in North America now. I mean, compared to.
So I'm going to throw something back at you. I had a point on the other. I was going to let you talk, but I had another point on the other with the baby. I was on a plane and there's a baby playing on an app on the phone. And so, the demographic really does go from 1 to, anyway, sorry. No, I'm going to throw something back at you. I was on the phone with Cigna this morning, and their entire company is BlackBerry. And they said if it doesn't work on BlackBerry, we are not doing anything on the mobile web.
Oh, yeah, of course you've got your special cases, right?
Yeah, well.
True. I think GE's the same way, though. So
Yeah.
two big, huge elephants. But.
BlackBerry users are like smokers. We know we have to quit, we just can't do it. So, I'll get there one of these. When they stop giving them to me for free, I'll switch to some other brand. But right now, I'm hooked like a caffeine fiend. Did you have a comment?
Well, what we find at the Home Depot is, we have a lot of, especially with a contractor, a lot of them are Hispanic. And so there's a lot of, mobile users that really skews high for Hispanic and also in the African American community as well.
Yeah, that's traditionally, I used to work for Bell South, and that was traditionally the long distance talk time was much higher in those demographics. The socialization, they socialize a lot more. So it makes sense that smartphone usage would be high because we're using it to text each other and to stay in touch and instant message. And so that makes all the sense in the world. And I've seen that smartphones, when they came down to $49 and $99, and, these decently priced data plans, you talk about laptop replacement. I mean, most people, their smartphone, for a lot of the population, that is their internet connection. And that is what they use to surf the web and to get their email, because they can't afford to have Wi-Fi at home or broadband coming into the house and pay $500 for a laptop, but they can spend $49 for a smartphone or a prepaid phone or something like that. So, yeah.